Buddy, and welcome to the third session of the Paid Search Masterclass series. This one is going to be on how to measure success in your PPC campaigns. I will be your presenter today. My name is Michael DePino. I am a senior paid search specialist here at Carnegie. My archetype persona is the rebellious and selfless shepherd, colors being purple, green, and silver. My current role here at Carnegie is that I lead paid search strategies and contribute to my team's overall growth in order to ensure our client success. And then I have two fun facts. The first one being that I use an AI chatbot named Claude in order to create some of these graphics in this presentation. I will call them out here and there, and I highly recommend it for creating graphics. Wanted to give this a shout out since I know AI is a hot topic at the moment. And then my other fun fact is that I'm a huge basketball fan. I'm excited for the rest of the season after that crazy trade deadline. So let's get into it. This is going to be our agenda for today. We're going to break it down into three agenda items. We have the fundamentals of performance in Google Ads. We have tracking and analyzing towards enrollment goals, and then finishing out with A/B testing and campaign refinement. So to get into the first agenda item, we are going to discuss understanding basic PPC metrics. Then we're going to move a little bit deeper into it and learn about understanding key performance indicators, otherwise known as KPIs. There are a lot of acronyms in the paid search world, so I will call them out when applicable. And then we're going to end it out with measuring and evaluating performance for the first agenda item. So we're going to begin with understanding basic PPC metrics, and the place to start would be impressions, which are total ad views. Impressions occur when a user triggers your ad and it shows in the Google search engine result page. And it does not matter whether the user clicks the ad or does not click the ad. An impression still occurs. That then rolls us right into clicks, which is user interactions with ads. When a user takes action on that impression, that is when a click occurs. Next, we would have conversions, which is once you click the ad and you arrive to the landing page, the user then has the opportunity to complete the action tied to your campaign goals, which would result in a conversion. And then ending it out here with costs would be the total amount spent on running ads. So now that we've covered basic PPC metrics, let's dive into some key performance indicators. There are many key performance indicators within Google Ads, but I'm going to talk about four here that I think are some of the most useful ones and the ones that I use on a daily basis to assess performance for my campaigns. So we're going to begin with click-through rate, which is the number of clicks divided by number of impressions by definition, but an easier way to think about it would be how often users who see your ad or assets end up clicking on them. So some actionable items here would be to use click-through rate to gauge assets or to gauge which assets can be improved. And then you can do that by analyzing your lowest and highest performing headlines and descriptions. The next one will be CPC, which is cost per click, often referred to as average cost per click. The definition here would be the amount paid for each click on your ad. And then you want to think about it in an easier way as how many conversion opportunities are available within your campaign's budget. A higher average CPC is going to result in less clicks for your campaign's budget, which ultimately results in less conversion opportunities. So some actual items in order to combat high average CPCs would be analyzing the quality score metric, which we learned in Jenna's presentation in the second presentation. It is comprised of expected click-through rate, ad relevance, and landing page experience. And improving this can lower average CPCs as stated by Google. The next would be bidding strategies. So maybe you want to consider switching to a manual bidding strategy in order to provide better control over your click per cost spend. And then the last one would be keyword and location targeting. You can consider expanding keyword and location targeting in order to lower CPCs by increasing the overall search volume and avoiding highly competitive auctions. However, one note is that you're going to want to ensure that you are still targeting relevant keywords and relevant locations in relation to your campaign's goals and not expanding too broadly because that can result in low quality traffic, which would not be a good trade-off for lower CPCs. The next KPI is going to be conversion rate. So conversion rate is the percentage of clicks resulting in conversions. A way to think about it would be how efficiently your ads and landing pages drive conversions from your clicks. And in order to improve conversion metrics, which this is going to share the same with CPA, and we're going to build a little bit upon it later on, but you're going to want to analyze keyword performance, which you can pause underperforming keywords to reallocate budget toward higher performing keywords. And then you can also test new keywords through keyword research or different match types in order to improve efficiency. Next, you're going to want to review your ad copy and combinations. So you can adjust your ad copy to highlight key value prop or offerings, and then you can analyze your served ad combinations, which allows you to put yourself in the user's shoes and see what they're seeing. And then if you don't like your ad combinations, then you can consider pinning headlines in order to have more control over those ad combinations that are served to the users. Last, we have evaluating landing page content. You can review and optimize content flow, page layout, visual elements, and CTAs in order to improve your conversion rates. We also recommend adding key value propositions that differentiate you from your competitor in order to better persuade your users to take that action that you're asking them to take on the landing page, which can be a huge swing in getting users to complete that CTA when getting to your landing page at that moment. And you can take more advantage of those clicks that you're generating in your campaign. Last, we're going to wrap it up here with cost per acquisition, otherwise known as CPA, and can be referred to as average CPA. The definition is the cost to acquire a desired conversion through ads. And you can think about it in a way of return on investment from your advertising spend, which is often why CPA is one of the most important metrics and one of the most important metrics to report on, is because it is your direct return on investment on your advertising spend. So the actionable items here to improve average CPA would be the exact same ones that we just talked about within conversion rate, but I'm also going to throw evaluating bid strategies in there as well, as you can consider changing the multitude of bid strategies that Google offers in order to better optimize your campaigns towards average CPA. An example being target CPA, which gives Google an understanding of your CPA goals for profitability. So now that we learned about basic PPC metrics and KPIs in Google Ads, the next is understanding how to evaluate campaign performance. So one way to do this is through month-over-month and year-over-year comparisons. We're going to start with month-over-month comparison, which helps track short-term trends and measure of the impact of the optimizations that you make on a weekly, monthly basis. However, it's not always an apples-to-apples comparison due to external factors such as seasonality. So when available, obviously you need to run a campaign for longer than a year in order to have year-over-year comparison. When available, it provides a clear long-term view by comparing the same month from the previous year, which minimizes seasonality effects. There are still some other external factors that come into play with year-over-year comparison as well, such as budget shifts and competition changes, which can still affect month-over-month performance as well. But just wanted to call those out as well. So when analyzing performance, you want to focus on those basic and key performance indicator metrics, both individually and in combination that we discussed earlier, to get a complete picture of how your ads are performing on these month-over-month and year-over-year timeframes. Next, we're going to get into tracking and analyzing towards enrollment goals. We're going to break this down into conversion tracking strategies, conversion actions to achieve enrollment goals, and supplemental tools for tracking and analytics. So here we have Google Tag Manager. This is the conversion tracking strategy that we use for Carnegie. Google Tag Manager is also referred to as GTM. What Google Tag Manager lets us do is set up conversion tracking tags on your website. This allows us to ultimately manage and update those tags while tracking various conversions. And that then allows us to be able to upload that data into platform in order to monitor ad performance and optimize campaigns in order to increase efficiency based on that conversion data that we're getting from GTM and uploading into platform. So through our handy friend GTM, we can set up conversion tracking for these key actions on your website. At Carnegie, we track 3 standard conversions when possible. That's going to be RFI submissions, visit submissions, and application submissions. The first one being RFI submissions, which ultimately indicate interest. When a user submits an RFI form, they're requesting more information about your university or program, and this conversion gets them in the door. The next one being visit submissions. This gets students on campus, helping them form an emotional connection to the school. This can hopefully lead to an RFI submission if they have not already submitted one, or can lead us into our next conversion, which is application submissions. Application submission conversions measure progress towards your enrollment goals and ensuring our advertising efforts are filling your classes and programs with high quality candidates. Here's an example of a clawed image on this slide. On the right, the request for more information box right there. That's an example of the 4 form fields that Carnegie recommends to have on your RFI form. So how about the next 2 supplemental tools for tracking and analysis? We have Carnegie Clarity, which is a customer data platform. Carnegie Clarity is great as it complements PPC efforts by showing user engagement beyond those conversions. So through GTM, we can track RFI submission conversions, we can track visit submission conversions, and we can track application submission conversions. But Carnegie Clarity provides insight into lead quality and whether those leads are generating admitted and enrolled students. So through this data, we're able to optimize our campaigns towards enrollments and not just applicants, so we can get the full picture of the student journey. The next one being Google Analytics 4, which stands for GA4. This is an event-based tracking model that provides deeper insights by Google Ads. This is one of my favorite tools as being in Google Ads because it provides different metrics and different data that Google Ads does not offer. An example would be the scroll event, which you can set up at different intervals on the landing page in order to see where users are dropping off a landing page. So say we set up at the 25, 50, 75%, and it presets at the 90% scroll interval. We're able to see the amount of traffic that comes into your landing page, and then we're able to take the discrepancy of where those users are dropping off at those different intervals. So a use case for GA4 would be an RFI form being at the bottom of a landing page, and we recommend to move that RFI form to the top of the landing page. We can use that scroll event to see how many users are arriving to the landing page and ultimately not seeing that RFI form at the bottom of the landing page. We can then give a data-backed recommendation and showing the amount of users not even reaching the CTA to move the CTA to the top of the page to ensure visibility for our clients. So that's one really cool use case for GA4 that we would not be able to do because that data is not available within Google Ads. Moving lastly into Slate, which is a CRM. This is the CRM that the majority of our higher education clients use. Slate is a centralized student inquiries, applications, and communications. What we're able to use Slate for in paid search is that it helps optimize PPC campaigns by feeding that first-party data back into our targeting, which works really great with our paid search campaigns. We're now going to wrap it up here with A/B testing and campaign refinement. The last 3 sub-bullets are going to be testing elements. Then we're going to get into analyzing A/B experiment data to identify optimization opportunities. And we're going to wrap it up with an A/B testing example that I ran for one of my clients, which I think will give you guys a really good perspective on how to analyze A/B testing data. So these are some common A/B testing elements that we run here at Carnegie. There are so many A/B testing elements that you can run across paid search, but we're going to highlight some of the more common ones that we run and some of the ones that we think make the most amount of important impact on campaigns. So you can see on the left, we have ad copy, landing page design, geo-targeting, and RFI form A/B tests. The way an A/B experiment works is the base campaign would get 50% of the budget and the experiment campaign would get 50% of the budget. And then you would see how the performance changes from the base campaign to the experiment campaign and gauging whether or not the experiment campaign results in an improved efficiency in the campaign performance. So starting on the green bubble, we have ad copy and we have headlines and description text. So breaking that down, you have your base campaign. You can compare your current headlines and description text in comparison to maybe new headlines or description text, or maybe testing pinning a headline or description in the experiment campaign and seeing whether that increases performance for the campaign. The next would be a landing page. We're going to start off with page layout in the graphic on the right. Page layout would be where you have the information on your landing page laid out. So maybe you want to test bringing something from the bottom of the page to the top of the page, and your current campaign has that the other way, and you can see if changing the page layout of the landing page results in increased performance. We then have visual elements. Maybe you currently have a image on the landing page and you want to test a video and see if that increases performance. And lastly, we have content flow for landing page. And the content flow would be the actual content itself, whether you want to rewrite that and see if that could change performance, or it could be as simple as paragraph format versus bulleted format. As bulleted format, it may be a little bit more easily digestible to read when arriving to the landing page. We're then going to get into the purple circle of the diagram, which is geo-targeting. So a geo-targeting example could be your campaign currently targets at the county level, and you want to see if targeting the state level and opening up that geo-targeting would result in an increase in performance. And then we're going to end it out with the bottom right circle, RFI forms. We have form fields, which we discussed a little bit earlier. Maybe your RFI form has 8 form fields right now. It's a little bit intimidating. It's a little long, maybe a little bit more intense information, and that can result in the user not being able to submit the RFI form at the moment, or being intimidated and not wanting to submit the RFI form at the moment. So you can test reducing the form fields and seeing if that creates a more easily approachable RFI form and results in an increase in RFI submissions. The last one being form location. That goes back to the GA4 example. Say we have the RFI form at the bottom of the landing page, and we recommend moving the RFI form to the top of the page, and we don't want to go right into that, and we want to run an A/B experiment to see if this would really have a true impact on performance, and we can do that before heading into that. So those are some common A/B testing elements. And next, we're going to hop into how we analyze A/B experiment data. So in order to analyze A/B experiment data, it really comes down to statistical significance. Statistical significance indicates whether the results of an experiment or test are likely due to a specific cause rather than a random chance. Ultimately, what this allows us is to be confident that the performance that occurred within the A/B experiment will continue occurring once we apply the experiment. When looking at statistical significance, you're going to want to look at the basic PPC metrics along with KPIs we previously discussed in order to look for whether or not they've reached statistical significance in order to feel confident about the experiment. All right, so we're going to end it up here with an A/B experiment example. This is one that I ran for one of my clients. And like I said before, I think this will give a really good picture of how to analyze A/B experiment data. So this is a geo experiment. It's for an MSc nutrition program. So looking at the images on the right, the top image is state targeting in the upper northeast of the United States. That was our previous geo targeting, and we recommended to open up the campaign nationwide based upon the fully online format of the campaign and the nationally ranked program, as we believe that we could drive more conversions for the campaign's current budget targeting nationwide. So since the program can be completed anywhere in the United States, and they had a nationally ranked program, which gives them brand recognition nationwide, we recommended opening up nationwide targeting. So the results of the experiment were great. So statistical significance was achieved across multiple key performance indicators. For example, we have on the left, average CPC, clicks, conversions, and average CPA. Ultimately, the hypothesis of the experiment was achieved, where the goal of driving more conversions within the client's budget was achieved. And then wrapping things up here, based on the experiment data results, we shifted from select statewide targeting to nationwide targeting due to the statistical significance of the test and the fact that we felt confident that once applying this experiment, it would continue resulting in that performance as we saw during the A/B experiment. So wrapping things up here, I know you've seen this in the last 2 slides, but Carnegie is offering a really great promotion with subscribers to this series receiving 25% off a PPC audit, plus an automatic entry into the drawing for a free chance to win a free PPC audit. All you need to do is submit the form that is on the landing page that you are currently watching this presentation. And then we also have some resources here. These are some great resources, including some Carnegie blogs that I highly recommend you take a look into if you want to reinforce and expand your knowledge on the topics we discussed in this presentation. And I'm going to wrap things up with my contact information. I want to say thank you very much for attending this entire 3 presentations and this presentation specifically. My email is below, and I strongly encourage anyone who has questions to reach out and to ask them, and we can continue diving into these topics as much as you need. So thank you very much again, and have a good one, everybody.